Good morning, everyone. So, we have Dr. Sinha with us on the podcast. And we are so humble, ma'am, that you accepted. And it's an honor that we are starting our podcast series with you. It's actually that this 20 minutes, 25 minutes will be really enriching when you'll share your experiences and how we can go further with us, like planning our curriculum or how the new Gen Z are working because it's like I think more than 20 years of experience now in your arena. So I'll just start with the basic thing as a faculty and mentor to many of us, like me, like you are mentoring. So many of us as a faculty. So what all changes in the academics, in the education, and how the education has evolved or transformed in the last 20 years? So it just, if you can throw some light on it.
Yes, I think that's the relevant point. And first of all, thank you for giving me this opportunity. And it's a honor and privilege for me as I'm the first person that you are giving this opportunity to interact.
Yes, ma'am.
So we are in a stage where we are at the crossroads because we are witnessing what we call as a twin transition, which is about the confluence of technology, the digital technology, and the way it has entered into higher education. And at the same time, we are also dealing with enhanced consciousness about sustainability. So these two changes have reflected have they are getting reflected in the way we are dealing with the teaching and learning. uh, on one hand, we have the advantage that just 20 years ago we saw the first revolution of internet,
Yes.
and we have already seen the way we adopted and the way the students have enriched on account of the advent of the internet technology. So I think it is important for us to understand that technology is an enabler. And when we talk about apprehensions about the use of a large language model, or what we call normally as the chat
Yeah,
GPT or
chat GPT,
artificial
artificial
intelligence.
intelligence.
Chat GPT is just one of the forms, but
Correct.
there are so many other tools which are available. So it's an enabler
Hmm.
because see, what we need to understand is that see, technology will give content,
Correct.
but we as teachers have to give values.
Correct.
We as teachers have to inculcate the critical thinking and also the human values.
Correct.
So the teacher's role will change. We have to act as mentors and what we call as human anchors rather than just the providers of the content, because that
Correct.
role is increasingly being taken up by
Hmm.
technology.
Correct. And we have seen this in COVID times also, no? The faculty, I think apart from the software people who were adapted to this thing very easily, but for the faculty members, it was very difficult because I think we were used to that classes thing, students and physical touch, that was very important for all of us as a faculty. So it was very difficult, but we all adapted. And for, I think for school teachers it was more difficult, like teaching a subject like chemistry in online classes, it would have been difficult. And for us it was status, it was again one difficult thing. So how education has evolved, you have put it and you have articulated it so well, ma'am. Second question is, in new education policy also we have seen that they are talking about interdisciplinary learning and collaborative learning. Considering my fellow institute as my competitor, yes, how can I collaborate, and do you think this collaboration and interdisciplinary learning actually works?
Indeed, I am for it. In fact, just imagine, particularly if you look at the management education, it has
Yes.
always, actually grown on the blend of so many different disciplines and subjects.
Mhm.
So, economics, commerce, psychology, they have all been part and parcel of the management education. And of
Mhm.
course, the mathematics
Mhm.
and the Analytics is the new part that has
Correct.
come up in management education. But
Yes.
even if you go beyond management education, just think of the mobile device that we use. So it
Hmm.
is a combination of optics. So you
Hmm.
need people from physics background.
Correct.
It's a combination of what you call as the different forms of software content.
Hmm.
So we
Hmm.
need the understanding of mass media
Hmm.
and journalism to a
Hmm.
certain extent. So every field, I mean, is something where you need to, have the holistic perspective, and you need to understand that, when people from diverse background come, I mean,
Hmm.
we are not just creating technology, we
Hmm.
are creating an experience. Okay,
Correct.
so that will only come up when we understand it as a whole system.
Hmm. 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 Hmm.
So it was there.
Hmm.
It's not that just because of the education policy changes that we are witnessing, we are
Hmm.
talking about interdisciplinary learning. It has
Hmm.
always been around. I mean, electrical engineering and electronics engineering and computer science engineering, the kind of overlap that they have, it has
Correct.
always been indispensable.
Yeah. And it has to be like being a faculty, we are doing research nowadays. The management people are collaborating with somewhere in the software or in the engineering background with the, like, we are doing business intelligence now. So it's business intelligence or business analytics, not apart from data analytics. So much this thing. And yes, coming from, when we say straight from the horse's mouth, it says that new collaborative or new education policy is really working on it. What should be the approach of a faculty member, or maybe person on a higher designation, could be a dean or director? How can we formulate this emotional quotient or learning of social emotional learning in our institutes or universities, where we take care of students' mental health and well-being, which is again one buzzword when we say, because this generation is I think it's, we can say it's very fragile when we talk about. So how can we work on this thing? What should, as an institute, what should we do to work on the emotional and social well-being of a student?
You have touched at such a critical, relevant, and pertinent aspect of our higher education system. It's not just about higher education system, because ultimately we are part of society, and all the problems that you see in society, they manifest in many ways when it comes to student teacher relationship itself. So
Mm,
higher education system, particularly, whether it is universities or whether it is standalone institutions, I think the connect between the faculty and the student is diminishing. One thing that we need to really work on is the opportunity for the faculty and the students to have one-to-one interaction. Like I mentioned earlier, we need to be mentor and we need to be anchors. So
mm,
access to teachers,
mm.
in many institutions nowadays, we have the mentor mentee system,
Correct.
where a set of students are assigned a particular mentor, the
Mm,
teacher, with whom they can share all aspects of
correct.
their development, whether it is academic or even emotional. But
Mm,
even then, you cannot completely overlook the fact that, the social media
mm,
particularly has created a curated image of your peers, and
mm.
that is causing lot of you know FOMO, the fear
Correct.
of missing out.
Yeah.
And so we need to inform, we need to educate the students that everybody is dealing with his or her own battle, and
Mm,
what you see on Instagram or Snapchat is not the real world.
mm,
And I think another level that we need to work on is that we need to ensure that apart from the academic and the well-being of the students, we also try to help them to the extent possible to deal with the expectations, the skill
correct.
set that the industry needs. So it cannot be just mental well-being. It
Mm,
has to be an amalgamation of mental well-being, then counseling, as well as preparing the students for
mm.
the challenge of a professional life.
Mhm. Very well said, ma'am. And last year at GNIM, we started very religiously this mentor-mentee session, not the sake of putting it just in the timetables or in the timelines. So, and we have seen the changes, when the student meet the faculty mentor as a mentor, not as a faculty at that point of time, and the groups are assigned, the students are assigned, then we were able to see the changes in their academics also. We were able to see the changes. They were becoming more participative, the students who were not participative, because the role of mentor was very important, as you well said, that they are anchors. So no, it is not 9 to 5 job now as a faculty member. And when
It
we go
never
back
was.
also, yeah, when we go back, we still receive the calls. And I'm sure you and me, we have experienced, that the students who were there in 2006, 7, 8, 9, 10, they are still attached to her. So that emotional question of that faculty member has to be there. And that mental well-being is associated with that. Today is what we learned last year, or we made the students learn last year, is those things are becoming obsolete very rapidly, because it is too much of changes these days. So what advice would you like to give first to the faculty members, to our fraternity, that how we should adopt to those changes and we should not be rigid enough? What all things can we do as a faculty members? And then how the students have to deal with this rapid change?
So, when it comes to faculty, the first thing that we need to understand is that we are not teachers,
Hmm.
we are students
Hmm.
first,
Great, ma'am.
because so much is happening and
Hmm.
there is so much to learn all the while.
Hmm.
And the moment we have this realization, I'm
Hmm.
sure the change and the related preparation that we need will come very easy and handy. But unfortunately, what happens is that, I think one of the issues which is not highlighted is the kind of emphasis that is put on research. And teaching somehow is taking a backstage. So, unless you spend time on learning about the new facets of the knowledge, it becomes very difficult, because when you do research, you are actually looking at a very, very focused area of a broader subject. But the students need to be given the broader picture of the, theory or any application. And for that, the teacher has to read a lot. In fact, I was just, going through a book, and I think you should also go through it. It's called Measure What Matters.
Measure what matters.
Measures. Yeah, Measure What Matters. It's by John Doerr, and it's a very interesting book. And I think the teacher should definitely go through it, because it gives a very beautiful description of what are the key result areas for teachers.
Hmm.
It has been written in the context of industry, but
Hmm.
I think there are many lessons that we as faculty members can also imbibe based on this particular book. So as I mentioned to you, first thing is that you need to learn, you need to be willing to learn, and you need to also you know interact more with the students, because we need to identify what their specific needs are, because students needs are also changing. Another thing is that we need to be more active in terms of collaboration with industry, with other educational institutions, and blended learning also is a way forward. So we need to be ready to include, for example, in my class, one of the problems that we often deal with is the kind of fiddling of the mobiles in the classroom that
Hmm. Hmm.
happens
Hmm.
these days. So what I have done is that I take up a particular topic and
Hmm.
we have some discussion about the content, and then I ask them some relevant question. For example, if you're talking about, let's say, privacy.
Hmm.
Okay, so we talk about privacy, and then I give them an assignment to look into. I ask them that open whatever tool you're using, whether it is
Hmm.
ChatGPT or
Hmm.
Gemini or
Hmm.
whatever, and try to find out what is the regulatory framework in India about data privacy.
Hmm.
And you read through it, and then
Hmm.
you write in your own words.
Great.
and next class we discuss about it.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
that way, you know, the students are doing what they like to do, and at
Correct.
the same time they are also learning the content which is prerequisite if they want to enter the professional world.
Correct, correct, ma'am. Yes. So this is very well said, ma'am. I'll go through the book, and when you said that how you are making use of mobiles or maybe internet in the classes, that is very important. Even if we have, so we had this thing. We didn't try it, but we will do this open book test. You know, long back IIMs had that open book test,
Yes, in my
and it was,
course, in my
yeah.
course for the internal assessment, I always give them open book examination.
Okay,
In
okay,
fact,
okay.
right from the first batch, I have been doing this experiment for the end term examination.
No,
Of course, it's
it's a
not possible,
university. Yeah.
but for the class test,
Hmm.
I do open book examination.
Great, ma'am. Great. Your take on this, when we have so much on the online learnings and LinkedIn courses, LinkedIn is providing courses on YouTube. We have number of trainers who are coming down. So this online mode or hybrid learning now research is also being hybrid now these days. The conferences are on a hybrid model.
Yes.
Yes. So could be some positive points also, could be some negative points also. So your take on this hybrid learning models, ma'am.
See, this is something that I have been using ever since COVID time came. I
Correct.
must say that before COVID, we were only using the conventional mode,
G.
except for the fact that off and on we used to, show them some movies, the relevant ones. For example, if I teach the course of, you know, corporate social responsibility,
Hmm.
then I also make use of The Smartest Guy in the Room, a very famous movie which is about the Enron story.
Hmm.
So apart from that, I think I was basically into the conventional mode of teaching.
Hmm.
But COVID has changed everything.
Correct.
And I find that it is actually very useful because
Hmm.
ultimately it is the multimedia
Hmm.
sensory experience that
Hmm.
creates more engagement.
Correct.
And with online and blended learning, that has
Hmm.
become so easy. So
Yes.
I think the hybrid mode of teaching with input both from the
Faculty
conventional
members.
teaching, the classroom teaching, as well as the online resources, I
Hmm.
think that's a perfect way to move forward in this era, because
Hmm.
ultimately you need to understand that even the new education policy, and also the fact that UGC also even allows now up to 40% of the content can be taken up through the online mode.
Online sources.
Yes.
Yes.
So I think this is something which is the new norm rather than a
Right.
challenge.
I'll take one last question, and it is actually very overwhelming to hear you, and it is amazing to hear so good words about the education and how you have put it in a very right frame. I can say all the things, and nothing looks challenging when we talk to a mental IQ. It all looks like a cakewalk. So, what a student should, or before choosing any institute, if he has to go either for a graduate or for a postgraduate program, so what he should look for in an institute, because sometimes I come up with very vague statements that about the infrastructure. So, and I answer that it's not about infrastructure, it's what the faculty is teaching you, and how are you grooming yourself in the institute. So, what are things a student should keep it in mind before choosing any institute, university, college, whatever, for their higher education, ma'am?
I must say that today's student is much more conscious, aware, and informed than what we were when we had to make these choices.
Absolutely,
But
ma'am.
even then, too much of information overload also
Yes.
sometimes is a problem where it becomes difficult.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
I will not say that you don't look at the brand name or
Right.
ranking,
Hmm.
because ultimately it is also a reflection on the quality. Because as you rightly pointed out, it is they should find out about the kind of industry collaboration that the
That is very
institution
important, ma'am. Very,
has,
very important.
and
Yes.
the kind of efforts which are being made for skill development and placement. I
Correct.
think skill development, placement, and the overall brand and reputation,
Yes.
along with the choice of the program that you want to
Correct.
take up. So all that is something that you need to reflect on before deciding on
Deciding
the
on it.
institution and make use of technology.
It was amazing. So we, when we say it is power packed 20 minutes with Dr. Sinha, and it is amazing to listen to you, ma'am. The session was
You
enriching. It
you
is thought
actually,
provoking.
mentioned about all the indispensable issues that our higher education system is witnessing, and it has been a pleasure interacting with you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. And it is our first podcast. So we need your blessings so that we give good to the students, good to the faculty fraternity. And with this 20 minutes, they can learn at least for 5 minutes of whatever we have shared or you have shared with us. Thank you so much, ma'am, from the GNIM. And from the bottom of my heart, I'm actually very thankful that you said yes, you accepted the invite. And keep sharing your blessings and wishes to us, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. All the best.